It's also hilarious to fucking say, do you know how much money Hamas steals? Okay. Do you know how much money Israel takes from us? Your tax dollars and my tax dollars? It's to the tune of billions. I would rather fucking give that money directly to Hamas so they can fucking at least fund some semblance of a civil governance program in the Gaza Strip than fucking Israel so they can use it to melt Palestinian children every day. Shut the fuck up. Money, what leaders? They're all dead. Oh my God. And even if it was real, even if it was real, even if this is like, oh, Hamas is like stealing all the fucking aid or all the resources, like, okay, then stop the genocide and then we can deal with that. Okay. It's so strange that like people still think this is a claim that holds any weight, especially when matched with the magnitude's worse violence of ethnic cleansing. You know, none of this makes sense. And yet people still do it, where people are like, well, Hamas is stealing money. What are they doing with the money? Where are they going with the money? They can't escape the Gaza Strip. What can they possibly do with this money? Is there a secret merchant in the tunnel systems that they can go to purchase weapons or something? Are they buying Labubus? Did Hamas buy the 24 karat gold Labubu? Is that what you think is going on? What could they be doing with the money? Every single thing in the Gaza Strip is destroyed. Yeah, what are you buying? What are you selling? That's what's going on. There's a Resident Evil merchant in the fucking tunnel system, okay? And he's just like giving them weapons. Can you say we've laundered the Labubu in your Palestinian accent? No, I can't. All right, let's continue. Here.
This is fucking nuts,
This
dude.
is so crazy. We are so not qualified to do this.
No, this is...
That's what's interesting about this. We're just not. We just should not be doing this.
Well, we're too far too gone.
Here we have the Prime Minister of Israel.
What? This is definitely going to be clipped out of context. I'm sure somebody already posted you saying, give American tax dollars to Hamas. I hate weird people. No, I don't. That's not out of context. I'm saying I would rather have my tax dollars go to Hamas that ends up literally rebuilding the civil governance affairs of the Gaza Strip than to fund the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian population. What do you think humanitarian aid? How do you think humanitarian aid works? That's how it works. I would rather it go to UNRWA. I would rather it go to the Palestinian population. The Gaza Strip is still, at this stage, controlled by Hamas and its civil governance division. I don't care if people get mad at that. It's like when I say it's not even comparable, okay, that Israel is magnitudes worse than Hamas ever could be, that Israel is a significantly more evil entity than Hamas ever could be. People go, oh, dude, that's going to hurt people's feelings if you say that. It's just the truth. Address the argument. Explain to me why I'm wrong.
Benjamin Netanyahu. He's about to walk into the podcast right now. This is probably one of the most, if not the most controversial podcast we
For sure the most
have
we've
ever done.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe not the most controversial we'll ever do.
You're not the center of the world. I agree. I don't think so. I'm not the one who's centering myself in this. Chatters are, and I'm addressing their concerns.
Maybe not.
But
maybe though.
I mean, this issue is just like, and by the way, I want to say too, I'm not claiming to be an expert on this issue or anything like that. I'm kind of just probably like a lot of you guys that, you know, you read stuff online. And I feel like on the internet now too, it's like, you don't even know what's real anymore. Like you read shit and it's like, you see a headline and it's like, is this true? Is this not true? So I see so much.
Imagine if the story was Jewish people stealing money to buy arms to resist the Reich. We'd call them heroes. I mean, there are stories like that. The Jewish partisans did that. They literally intercepted railroads and sabotaged supply lines. Of course they did. And they had every right to do so. And they are hailed as heroes in Israeli history, ironically enough. The only difference here is that the people that are doing it are brown and scary. Shut the fuck up, you ignorant piece of shit. How do you interview someone not knowing what they've done, especially when they're televised every single day? They misrepresented to you the intro yesterday. Anyway, yeah, this is like they're starting off talking about how ill-equipped they are to have this conversation, and then they have this fucking demon sit down
to see this thing, right?
Yeah, Prime Minister Netanyahu with us.
He's like, "Hello, I'm here to have slam some brewskis, you know, fuck bitches, get money. Hello, Nelk boys. I'm here to talk to you about Israel and how we must defend Israel. I love doing upper deckies. My fellow Nelks."
Today we're here in the Blair House.
Yep.
Right? Is this the White House grounds?
Close.
Close.
It's the sort of the official guest house of the United States.
How have you seen like the White House and stuff? Like, how has it evolved over the years, over the times of you visiting it?
I've met quite a few of the American presidents because I've been in office pretty long time.
Hassan, you're a terrorist, but at least you're good looking. Thank you for saying that, I guess. Like,
not because we don't have elections, but because I want
I'm gonna terrorize your
okay?
pussy.
I think there's never been a friend like Donald Trump in the White House for Israel. I think he's a remarkable leader. I think he's changing history. He said he'll make America great again. He's already done it. You know, America is widely admired now around the world, and especially after our joint operation against this regime that wanted to, you know, chance
with this
death
bomb
to
ass
America,
dick.
death to Israel. Well, I think together we've shown the world a different face of America. Very powerful, very directed, very resolute.
You guys are very tight, right? Would you call it a bromance?
Well, you might. I mean, we've known each other several decades, and you know, I really like him.
What do you like?
Yeah, this is bro. This is, oh God, this is so bad. It's just so fucking bad. He's like, yeah, I love Donald Trump. We have such a good relationship. We also love slamming happy dads together. We love slamming happy dads together on the Nelk Boys podcast. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it together. I don't even know if I could watch this whole thing. Okay, I just like, it's.
Most about him.
You know, if you meet him close up, and Sarah and I have had this.
I've never seen you watch Benjamin Netanyahu speak for an extended period of time. You've never been able to do it. I can't do it because he's such a fucking monstrous piece of shit. But then also on top of that, he is just so uncharismatic. He has no good qualities. He is basically America's fall guy here.
Opportunities many times, including last night in a great dinner we had at the White House. First of all, Donald Trump can be very funny.
Of course.
He can be very funny. He can
especially off camera, right?
He can absolutely. He can split your, you know, you sort of sit there and you start guffawing because it's so funny. And also, I'll tell you something else. That Sarah, who's a psychologist, and she, you know, psychologists,
Of course.
They look at people. They identify very quickly with that. You know what she said to me about Donald Trump? She said he's a good person. He has a good heart. He wants to do good. And that is something that I think that.
Yeah, this is him. Remember, he's playing to the audience, okay? He is hyping up his closeness to Donald Trump, a figure that the Nelk Boys audience obviously likes. Remember, Benjamin Netanyahu is a fucking demon, but also he is a very successful propagandist. This motherfucker's been the leader of Israel for decades at this point, okay? So understand something here. Like, every single thing that he's saying and the very fact that he's doing this interview is calculated. And as I described to the Nelk Boys yesterday, the reason why he's doing this interview with the Nelk Boys when he won't do this interview with Haaretz or any number of different Israeli outlets, including Israeli outlets that are literally promotional to him, because Benjamin Netanyahu notoriously does not speak to Israeli outlets, okay? He barely does interviews with American outlets. So why is he offering an hour and 13 minutes to the Nelk Boys? This is a question everyone should be asking. Okay. And it's precisely what I told the Nelk Boys, is because he knows that this is not going to be contentious. He knows that they're going to ask a couple questions and never push back with accurate information. That's the whole point. Now, of course, it's still a failure from the Israeli perspective because I think these guys do not understand how Israel is viewed and how especially Benjamin Netanyahu is viewed, because Benjamin Netanyahu himself is not even fucking liked by liberal Zionists at this point. Okay? Everybody sees him as an off-ramp. Even if you want to launder the reputation of Israel, you still have to say, well, it's Bibi's war. It's Benjamin Netanyahu's war. It's Benjamin Netanyahu's doing. So, like, there are only a handful of people that actually like Satan incarnate here, okay? And that's it. So you are not going to get anyone. You're not going to win any favors here. You can say what you want about Netanyahu, but he's quite a savvy politician. He knows what you need to suck Trump's penis to get whatever he wants, and he's doing that here. I mean, I think this is more so... I think this is more so about... yeah. Oh, here's Benjamin Netanyahu's favorability on table 5e on page 12. Here, just so you understand how fucking... dog shit, how underwater he is. Favorability of public figures. Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the following people? Okay. Benjamin Netanyahu's favorability, total favorability is at 24%. His unfavorability is at 44%. Okay. 44% unfavorability. He is underwater. It's a net negative. And his favorability, when you look at men versus women, is women 50% unfavorable, men across the board 30% favorable. When you look at the races, 30% favorable by white people. White people are carrying Benjamin Netanyahu's favorability here. Hispanic people are at 18%. Black people are at 9%. And his unfavorability for white people is also at 44%, 42%, and 43%. Okay? So he is incredibly unpopular. He is such a repulsive figure. He is such a repulsive figure that when you associate with him, you don't actually end up doing propaganda for him. You can't flip these numbers. You can't flip these numbers in the eyes of Americans. And when you look at the younger population, especially the 18 to 29, which is like the Nelk demo, his unfavorability is at his highest, 52%. 52% between the 18 to 29 demo, and at 30 to 44, it's at 42%. So when you look at these numbers, it's just like there is very few people who see him as favorable, and most of them see him somewhat favorable anyway. 3% of the 18 to 29 demographic only sees him as very favorable, as opposed to 44% seeing him as very unfavorable. Okay? That's it. That's precisely the reason why when you look at this interview and then you look at the comments, everyone is going, I miss when YouTube used to show dislikes. Nelk 2015, funny prank channel. Nelk 2025, propaganda machine for governments. You guys didn't question him once. This is crazy. Israel are so desperate for positive PR, they sent their prime minister to podcast with a bunch of pranksters. Zero pushback. You literally let a war criminal talk freely. You think Content Brain Podcasters would check these polls? No, but Content Brain Podcasters are receptive, incredibly receptive to their audiences. Okay? Do you understand? They're incredibly receptive to feedback from their audiences. So they're not seeing those polls. They're seeing the comments. And that's precisely the reason why yesterday they turned around and were like interviewing anyone and everyone they possibly could on you know, what they did, and they were like looking for anyone to just basically be like, nah, it's cool that you guys did this. And they didn't get that. And then they wanted to do this whole like, well, we're trying to get both sides on this issue. We're trying to do both sides on this issue. There are no both sides of the genocide, but there is also no feasible way of even getting both sides on this issue. Who are you going to do? Who are you going to interview? A fucking Palestinian child that is being malnourished, that is being starved to death by this guy that you interviewed? You can't do that. So it's just like a spectacular fuck up of epic proportions. And the reason why it's a spectacular fuck up of epic proportions is because you have to ask the question, like, who is this for? Like, no one wins in this, okay? No one wins in this process. the Nelk boys don't actually get any sort of positive clout out of this. They only get ridicule and negative associations. People in their audience are going to be like, oh, you are bought out by, like, the anti-Semitic people in the Nelk boys audience are going to be like, oh, you're bought out by Jewish money, blah, 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 all this shit. And the other people that are also anti-Israel for understandable reasons beyond the anti-Semitism are going to look at this and go, you've done propaganda for a fucking genocidal welfare state that relies on American tax dollars. And you guys just, like, you know, had this guy on and allowed him to fucking yap. And I know they wanted Motaz. They reached out to me, or their producer reached out to me to link them up with Motaz. And I told them Motaz would never do that. I tried to tell Steiny that as well. I'm working on trying to see if I can find someone that would actually go in front of this audience and talk to them and offer them the Palestinian position, the pro-Palestinian position. But it's very difficult. It's not helping these clowns, for the record. For those of you saying, stop helping these clowns, are you fucking stupid? This is about trying to get in front of as large an audience as possible, a person who has, you know, mental clarity, a person who is convincing, okay? This is more so to inform an uninformed audience. I'm sorry, this is not about doing PR. You guys can see it that way if you want, but I don't give a shit, okay? Even if it is technically damage control or some shit like that, I have my purpose here is to try and get the truth in front of as many people as possible. Okay? It is going to be virtually impossible for them to get anyone who is, like, Palestinian after they interviewed literal Adolf Hitler. That's just the situation at hand. Anyway,
You have to know him well to appreciate it. And the last thing I tell you about him, okay, I mean, I can tell you many things, but he cuts through the chase. You know, he cuts through the BS. I have to spell out what BS is. He cuts through the BS. He goes right to the point, to the heart of the matter. And sometimes he says things that get right to things that people don't want to really think through. And he cuts to the bone. And that is an amazing quality because it lets you focus on the things that are important. So it's been an incredible partnership, both personally, but also for our two nations.
Did you have any type of relationship with Biden?
Not the same. I've known Biden for, 40 years? Almost as long. Well, both of them. Over the decades, it was a different relationship. It was a friendship, but also it evolved into, how shall I say this? Severe disagreements.
Mm.
like, what's severe disagreement? This is bullshit. Biden gave him everything he wanted and more. This is, once again, him trying to hit a partisan angle here to make it seem like there was any sort of fucking daylight between the Biden administration and the Trump administration. Okay? The only reason why he's saying that is so that he can win favor in his mind off of the Nelk Boys audience by being like, oh yeah, we had severe disagreements. Really? Because it didn't bear itself out in the fucking conflict. What was it? It was unlimited genocide then, and it's unlimited genocide now. Fantastic stuff from the Biden administration, by the way. Throwing everything in the tank, including the fucking election, losing the election to a goddamn monster, an idiotic, incompetent monster, as a matter of fact, who is accelerating American fascism in broad daylight so that they could continue Israel's genocide. Great stuff.
And with Donald Trump, we've had powerful agreements. And where there's no daylight between an American president and an Israeli prime minister, amazing things can happen. Like our common enemies who chant death to Israel, death to America, and want to develop atomic bombs and the means to deliver them to this city and to every part of America. All of a sudden, they're not so intimidating. All of a sudden,
Biden didn't let him bomb Iran. That training started under Biden. The training, the military campaign for bombing Iran, and the training by the U.S. Air Force to bomb Iranian nuclear sites, that mission that was conducted under Trump literally started under Biden. So But of course, this is precisely the reason why Benjamin Netanyahu is never going to come to someone like myself, okay, and have a conversation like this with someone like myself, which was what the Nelk boys were asking as well to me yesterday. And I was like, there's obviously a difference between you and me in terms of like interviewing someone like Benjamin Netanyahu. There's a reason why he would never do this. There's a reason why he's doing the Nelk boys podcast instead. Because when he says stuff like this, no one is going to call that into question.
Yeah, we can defeat them. All of a sudden, you can use these brave American pilots who come from around the world, drop it right over the bunker, and help us end the amazing feats of our soldiers and pilots. That's an amazing thing. It's good for America. It's good for the security of every single American.
How do you feel about the Americans' opinion on Israel right now?
Well, look, I think the broad segments of the American public support Israel, but I'm concerned that the young people in America, some of them are getting the wrong picture of Israel, vilification, demonization. You can feed them a lot of...
They're getting the wrong picture of Israel, which is why I'm here to address the right picture of Israel. And I'm doing a spectacularly bad job at it because everyone sees the one picture, and that is murdered, mutilated, starving children. That is the only picture. That's the only thing that is on people's minds. Israel's association with rebuilding, recrafting, and popularizing a previously like religious language like Hebrew, its nation state project, its advancements in pharmaceuticals, all this stuff gone. It's done. It's done. You are a cartoonishly evil Nazi country that is doing a child holocaust in broad daylight, in real time. Of course it's going to breed enmity. Of course it's going to breed resentment. And there's no amount of podcast that you can go on that will change that reality. Okay? It's just not. It's not gonna change anything. And no boys are doing sympathization for them, yet we infantilize them doing this. I'm not. And I don't think anyone here is either. I don't know why you're saying we infantilize them doing this. I think you have to match this desperate attempt from Israel with like the impact that it's having. And if the goal here from Benjamin Netanyahu is to try and win favors and curry favors in the Nelk boys crowd, because in his mind he unironically thinks, I guess, or at least someone in his circle thinks that Nelk boys were directly responsible for Trump winning. Okay? Someone told him that the Nelk boys were the ticket to Trump's electoral victory. And this fucking moron believed that, okay? That's why he's doing this. And that fucking moron is probably Dana White, for the record. It's probably Miriam Adelson, and it's probably Dana White. Literally. These guys on the Republican side don't even know how they won the goddamn election. It's clear. Because of how you coddled them yesterday, you wouldn't be doing this for anyone else who platforms Sneeko, Tate, Trump, Netanyahu, etc. What are you talking about? Okay. What are you saying? I think a lot of you have a complete misunderstanding of fucking coddling. Why aren't you hunting people I disagree with for sport? Yeah, like I don't think you know what that word is. I told them that I told the Nelk boys that Benjamin Netanyahu used them like a fleshlight, that they gave the equivalent interview of like CNN, and that they would be tried in Nuremberg under normal circumstances in a similar fashion to journalists that actually propagandized for the Nazi state, and that they had basically done the equivalent of an Adolf Hitler interview. What part of that is coddling? I don't understand. Which is ironic because there are some bad faith actors in here who are like, why didn't you just fucking fly out to where they were and like beat them with your hands or something? While also simultaneously, I look at TikTok and half the fucking comments are like, Nick Fuentes was so based. Hassan could never actually pull off the incredible commentary that Nick Fuentes pulled off. And there are still dumb fucks who are hyper woke in my goddamn community who think that like I wasn't aggressive enough in my commentary.
Lies. So the only way you can fight lies is with the truth. How do you fight lies? You tell the truth, and you have to tell it as often and as intensely as the lies that are leveled against you, and that requires an effort. It's like another battlefield, you know. And I'm doing this podcast, among other things, to reach young people.
Of course.
You guys are pretty young. I mean,
30 years old.
30.
30.
That's young.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest misconceptions are about Israel?
Well, first of all, they don't know what kind of an open society it is, how pluralistic. I mean, we live in the heart of the Middle East, okay? Iran is not that far away. In Iran, they hang gays by cranes. In Israel, probably Tel Aviv is one of the, the most open, liberal-minded city on earth.
No. Don't hype that up too much. You know, remember, the Trump base is not that open to the gay stuff. It's not that woke. You know what I mean? It's not a good thing that Israel's woke like that. Anyway, yeah. In Iran, they hang gays by cranes. In Israel, we kill gays by fucking using American weapons on them. Okay?
Israel is a high.
We visited there, yeah.
No, it's completely different.
Our assistant's gay too. He had a good time.
Well, you could vouch.
Yeah, no, he had.
What's the difference between this and the stuff we have heard as a defense of Israel before? One line between all of them? No, of course not. There is no difference because there is no way to differentiate between Hasbara because the more people are aware of Israeli violence against the Palestinians, the less avenues Israel has to propagandize. So all of the fucking arguments basically become one. Israel's an apartheid state. Israel's an apartheid state committed to ethnic cleansing. Its societal underpinnings, its fundamentals are born out of this fascist ideology of Zionism, which is an ethno-religious supremacist ideology. It's a Jewish supremacist exterminationist ideology. Okay, it is no different than what the Nazis believed, but instead of between a murder victim and a person who is whose entire family's been slaughtered and the guy who's doing the murder. Ridiculous. Do you know how much money the leaders of Hamas steal? Like this is what I mean. People still try to do this dumb fuck bullshit. Dog, the leaders of Hamas are dead. Israel killed them. Okay? What the fuck are you talking about? How much money the leaders of Hamas steal? Both parties want the war to continue while the regular Palestinians suffer. Shut the fuck up. Okay? One, you have no evidence for this, okay? You just don't have any evidence for this. The only evidence you have, in air quotes, is whatever the fucking Israeli state is churning out as propaganda. And two, even if it was real, what difference does it make? It's still a fucking genocide, dumb fuck.